What's up, guys? In my last episode of my Road to Masters Season 7, I got placed in Platinum 4 after going 3 and 7, so it really wasn't a good start. But today, we're going to start fresh at Platinum 4 0 LP, and let's get into it. So the game starts off nicely for me. Somehow, their bot lane did not have vision all throughout River when they were playing super aggressive, and me and Annie just roamed down and get a 2 for 0 and first blood. So knowing that their bot lane was extremely dumb, they weren't warding at all, they were playing super aggressive, but not paying attention to the map at all. So me and Annie just roam down again. Alistair actually disconnects here and gets killed by Vi, but Annie Tibber bombs and I come in and we're able to get the 2 for 1 if you count Alistair's death, but I'll take it. Now, because of the success I was having bot lane, I figured I was just going to carry the game going bot constantly. I put up the tent, was going to set up a dive here, but then I get just annihilated by Vi. I didn't see her, and yeah, she's got some pretty ridiculous damage too, guys. I don't know why Lee Sin gets targeted with a nerf when Vi can just do that, but whatever. Once again, you see me going bot lane. This time, I was going for a little lane gank. I knew that they probably started to ward River if they were, they had to adapt it a little bit, so I decided to come through lane this time. Alistair engages, Sona uses her ult, and I just come in and surprise, get the kill on Kate, and then we slowly chase down the Sona, and I get Vayne the kill, which is nice. So now I turn my attention to mid lane due to the fact that bot lane was pushing to the second tower, and so I started picking up some free kills on the cannon. Me and Annie decided to roam after getting that kill, and we pretty much just tilted the enemy bot lane. Caitlyn just started trolling after this play here. I would be pretty tilted too, but yeah, we got to them pretty good. So it was pretty much just rinse and repeat at this point. I was just getting my free kill under tower mid lane, and then I would try to roam bot and get a free kill down bot. And I knew that their Vi was extremely ahead, so I wasn't really looking to set up any big team fights quite yet. I was more interested in extending lane phase as long as I could and just getting everyone super fed, and it was working out nicely. So a little bit of a mishap here. We were overextending a little bit too far out bot here, and I knew Vi was missing on the map, and so when Vayne walked up to that bush, I really had a bad feeling. She comes out of the bush and pretty much just one-shots Vayne. Kennen pops ult, and I know that I'm doomed at this point, so I just try to go in and kill the Vi, and I could have gotten an auto attack off on her there and finished her off, but I don't know what it was. I didn't expect to do that much damage, and so she gets away. So as you can see, my psychological warfare worked on bot lane. Their Caitlyn was so tilted this game. Like, she just kept going to the lane trying to catch up and just feeding. She was like 0 and 10 at this point. So me putting up a 10 bot lane was more than just getting my Vayne ahead. It was also about tilting the enemy. And it worked. And then right here, Vi gets a big kill on 2 of them. She was just really fed at this point. So we get chased down by 3 of them. But luckily, they split their focus here. Sona goes on to me, which is stupid. They should have just focused on one target because I just turn it on Sona. And Annie shows up and saves the Vayne. And we just get a 3 for 0 off that exchange. So we have the first team fight that finally breaks out this game. It was a 4v4, and Vi goes in on our backline. I get a really nice kick onto Kennen to delay his ult and get a 3-man knockup. And we take out the Sona, and luckily, our Annie shows up and their Caitlyn doesn't, so it turned into a 4v5. So yeah, pretty much their Caitlyn was just a liability at this point, and we started taking over the game. So using that advantage, we were able to get an inhibitor, and using that inhibitor, we were able to start a Baron. But they do contest here, and I actually get outsmited by Vi here, which is 100% a misplay on my part. But it is a 50-50 smite when it's contested like that. And our Vayne and Alistair kind of like screwed up there as well. Vayne was just blaming me for missing smite, but there's a lot of logistical errors that they made in my opinion. Alistair fucks up his combo. I liked what he was trying to do, but it was just a bad micro play. And then Vayne just kind of backs off when it was literally at like 1500 health, pretty much leaving me to smite by myself. I just don't think that Vayne realizes that she messed up there too. But anyways, we're still ahead, so it's not that big of a deal. And then later on, we get a nice pick on Azillion and Sona here. And with that, we're able to retake the inhibitor, so things were going our way again, thank God. So clearly there was a lot of rage going on in their team because Caitlyn still wasn't playing like she was trying. And we take the Elder Drake, and that was pretty much the nail in the coffin. They forfeit, and I get my first win at Platinum 4 0 LP. So as I get into the next game, let me better explain my thoughts for this series. So first of all, I've been playing like 2 to 3 games a day since I got placed, and I thought that was a lot, but turns out people in Challenger have been playing like 15 games a day, and people in High Diamond around 10 games a day, and it's just stressful to try and keep up with that. I just don't have the ability to play that many games a day. With that being said, I do want to focus a little bit more on getting better and climbing this season, as I mentioned in my last episode. So because of that, I can't do every game the way I normally do. It just takes way too long, and that leaves me even less time to actually play. So originally my solution was going to be to just do live commentary over all my games. I didn't love the way the live commentary turned out, so I'm going to continue to do most of my games like this, which is analysis, but I'm not going to be covering every single game. I'll just be picking chunks of games to show you. I'll always go in order, but I don't want to get super behind in covering the series. I want you guys to be as caught up as possible with my current progression, so because of that, I'll be skipping some games as we progress through the series. I'll always go in order, and I'll always show my LP after a game so you know where I'm at. I'll even give you a summary of what happened in the games that I skipped so that you don't feel like you're missing important parts of my climb. Also, I've been asked a lot about what I build with Lee Sin this season, and I finally found what I believe to be the best build. And keep in mind, I developed this build in anticipation of his nerf coming up. Until then, this build isn't quite as optimal, but I built it in this game here, and I actually really think it'll be one of the strongest builds for Lee post-nerf. So the build path is refillable pot and Hunter's Machete start. You're going to want to rush Tiamat as your first item before everything else because the jungle is so AoE oriented right now. Tiamat is just by far the most important item for jungling. Once you get Tiamat, you'll go ahead and rush Green Smite Warriors. I think regardless of his nerf, this item will always be core for Lee. It gives CDR the ability to ward hop and lots of early damage. Even through the nerf, your early game will be impacted the least, so I think Warriors is still a must-buy item so that you can try and snowball in the early game. After you get Warriors, you'll rush Deadman's Plate. From there, you have to make a decision based on the circumstances. You either build Titanic Hydra from your Tiamat, or you hold off on that and go for the Spirit Visage. If you're in need of MR, then go for Spirit Visage, but if their magic damage isn't that strong yet, just go ahead and build Titanic Hydra, and then of course whichever one you do first, you'll build the other right after. So at this point, we have Green Smite Warriors, Deadman's Plate, Spirit Visage, and Titanic Hydra. Of course, you want to buy boots early on, and the boots that I run are either Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads, but in the case that you're snowballing and ganking constantly, Boots of Mobility is a really good item for Lee. So it's just situational, but those are the 3 choices I would buy. And then for your last item, it's also situational, but for me, I either finish my build with Guardian's Angel, Warmog's Armor, or Randuin's Omen. And that's my current Season 7 Lee Sin build. It's a lot more tanky, and that's because I just think the nerf to his damage will be too noticeable to try and ignore and just play him with burst damage and assassination potential. You'll still get that early damage because your early game will be fairly similar, and then immediately cut to the full tank route. I'll probably make a follow-up video for this build, but for now, let's get back into the game analysis. So I start off with a gank on top lane for my Camille, who is kind of getting pushed out of lane by Maokai. And holy shit, Camille is a pretty sweet champion. This was my first time seeing her in game, and wow, she is cool. I was a little bit late on a counter gank to help Jin, who just got killed by Shaco, but Shaco ran the wrong way, so he ran right into me and Annie. I flashed to kick him before he could get a deceive off, and we finish him off. So I decided to sit in bush down bot lane because Shaco kept camping them, and they were overextended here, and to no surprise, Shaco shows up, but because I'm there, we're able to kill him. So using this advantage, I started to get deep wards. I was trying to counter jungle, put the Shaco behind even further, but I guess they had it all warded up because as soon as Annie walked down, she got just destroyed. And then shortly after, I make a mistake. I didn't respect Maokai's CC at all. I just stepped right up to him, and they just changed CC'd and killed me. I'm not gonna lie, that last play like really tilted me, and then Camille decides to go in 4v1 here, and I try to save her, and it gets us both killed, and at this point, I was just getting extremely tilted. So off of me and Camille's mistake there, they end up getting Baron, and they start rotating top, and I make the mistake of walking right through my jungle. Like, obviously they're gonna be there to pick us off. Like, it was pretty obvious. I made the mistake there. That's 100% my fault, but my macro play was just a little bit clouded because of how tilted I was getting. But finally, we get some life here. Maokai gets caught being cocky, and Shaco is with him, and it was a 5v2. I'm able to take out the Shaco with a Q Smite combo, and my Camille takes out the Maokai. So we use our advantage to finally take the first mid tower, and Jhin overextends and Camille just goes in on him and takes him out. And wow, Camille is a really strong champion, I'm not gonna lie. And using those picks, we're actually able to push it all the way down mid lane and get an inhib, and Camille takes out the top inner tower, and we actually take the lead with that exchange. Now, the enemy team does rush Baron when they spawn, and they manage to take it, which was really smart on them, and they use that to take our top inhib, but what they didn't realize is that we had minions in their base, which end up taking both of their Nexus towers, so now they have an open Nexus. And to make matters worse for them, their Nami and Maokai both just got picked by us, so we're in a position to end the game here. So we decided just to Zerg the Nexus and try and win the game right here. Camille goes in on the Nexus, she ends up taking out the Jhin, but Orianna flashes and shockwaves on 3 of us, which is really smart by her because it buys her team time to spawn, and we're forced to fight her. Camille ends up getting taken out by Shaco, but now at this point it's a 3v1. All they have is Shaco and we have 3 members. Looking back at it, we probably could have just ignored the Shaco and tried to end the game right now, but Shaco ends up killing our Ezreal and Maokai spawns, and so we weren't able to end the game off that. And it's just super unfortunate that we couldn't end there because their inhibitor spawns, and so now they don't have an open Nexus anymore, and they just decide to rush down our bot lane. They siege our tower, and they were just stronger in a team fighting circumstance. Orianna lands a really nice shockwave, and that actually ends the game for them, and we lose. So the next game, I get the pony himself, Hecarim. Starts off with an easy gank mid. She flashes away, but I had Ghost and double buff, so I take her out and get my first kill. The enemy Lee Sin then goes in and lands a nice Q smite onto a Lux and takes her out. Much respect to you, sir, but don't forget, I'm playing Hecarim.
Summertime, so the vibe is right. Crank the bass and dim down the lights. Don't know about you, but we came here to get down tonight. Celebrate it, quick vacation. All year we've been steady waiting. Now the sun is high in the sky. Let's live it up, 'cause we got the time. I'ma cruise by your spot round 8. Nah, girl, I ain't gonna be late. They told me to take it slow, but honestly, I couldn't wait. Hit the city, maybe hit the cap. Hit the coast and then bring it back. One thing that you gotta know, you're way too pretty to sleep alone. Now, baby, we ain't going home alone. You're way too pretty to sleep alone. Now, baby, we ain't going home alone. You're way too pretty to sleep alone. Now, baby, we ain't going home alone.
So as you can see, I got pretty fed this game. I'm 7-2 at this point, and now Riven gets caught out top lane. Lee Sin lands a nice Q smite again, but Janna saves her here, and here comes the E and the Ghost from the Hecarim, and I just go to town.
See the green that's in your eyes, only green I need to get high. Got me feeling like I'm the man. Know my story, you understand. This music only a part of me. Love because you want all of me. Love because you know what I want.
So at this point, I'm in the position where I'm going to have to carry my team because I have like almost all of my kills. And so I make a Baron call here, and it might have been a bad call in hindsight because we just didn't have the damage, but I thought Kog'Maw had more damage. But nonetheless, we end up winning the fight anyways, so it all worked out.
Make my money all independent, and your mind is money because you independent. Hit the U, maybe Belltown. Take a trip out and hit the sound. But there's one thing that you gotta know.
So using that ace, we end up getting Baron and then taking 3 inhibitor towers. So they have 3 open inhibs, so I just decide, fuck it, I'm going in hard here. I go in on Ezreal, reinforcements follow, and we'll see what happens.
Now, baby, we ain't going home alone. You're way too pretty to sleep alone. Now, baby, we ain't going home alone. You're way too pretty to sleep alone. Now, baby, we ain't going home alone. Wake up to no makeup, you don't need that, girl, straight up. You a wild child, lighting wildfires. Hit the ground and you spin the tires. Go a million miles an hour. No, I ain't fighting.
So that's it. We win the game. I feel really good about that Hecarim game. Pony's really fun, guys. Not gonna lie. He's pretty strong too. So he's kind of my second go-to jungle now when Lee Sin is pick or banned. But I get 27 LP again, so that puts me at Platinum 4, 68 LP. And that's the end of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if this is your first time on my channel. Thank you guys. Until next time.
You're way too pretty to sleep alone. Now, baby, we ain't going home alone. You're way too pretty to sleep alone. Now, baby, we ain't going home alone. You're way too too pretty to sleep alone.